Up YouTube fans, this is Zuby Masters returning to my Let's Play Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulation. After dinner on the night of the murder, we're supposed to be in Elise with Declan from reading a book together. Yes, I was so happy when she invited, but I didn't go. Somewhere else I had to go instead. I was so worried I had to go. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so nervous. Played the murder. This place, didn't you? Take that! You went. Because you were so worried, right? The next question is, who or what were you so worried about? Now I'm going to take a guess. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. Tell me the whole truth. Take that! It's obvious you were worried about. It was Maya, wasn't it? You knew that the training Maya was undertaking was dangerous. After all, it was the special force. Sister Bikini scared you with what she said, didn't she? And because it was you who introduced me, you felt responsible, didn't you? How what could have happened to Mystic Maya made me more and more worried. I couldn't sit still at all. That's why I decided to go and find out how she was doing at the end. And we're clear that it's you who went to the inner temple that night. What's not clear is what happened after that. What time was it when you headed to the inner temple? It was probably around 9:30 when I left the main hall. I heard the real train was supposed to start at 10. I wanted to get there before it started. There was so much snow I didn't get there until 10 o'clock. Until after 10 o'clock, how'd you know what time it was? Because I heard the bell ring for lights out. You heard the lights out bell? How's it current temple? Pretty small though, is it? You must have really good hearing. I was really trying to pick up the sound of that bell though. If I miss it, that would be terrible. Trying to hear the bell. Oh my goodness. Why were you so worried about hearing the bell? Oh. Take that! You were given some instructions to follow for that night, weren't you? I presume you recognize these pieces of paper. Where'd you... In the incinerator at the inner temple. Pearls. You were following the instruction to this letter that night, weren't you? That's why you couldn't afford to miss the sound of the... And speechless, Mr. Nick, you're amazing. These instructions that were found in the incinerator. I believe that they were written for you, Pearls. For me? No. As you see, a large portion has been burned. The last section is still fairly legible. As soon as you hear... I thought you must channel her spirit. Who was it, Pearl? Whose spirit were you supposed to be channeling? Author of the note... Right. Don't ever think it. It's pretty obvious who's Pearl's. Take that! It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? That was the name that was written on it. Just as I suspected. It wasn't Iris whose sister Bikini met at the... It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you know about her pearls? Do you know the kind of woman Dahlia Hawthorne was? No? I never heard of anyone by that name before reading those instructions. I thought so. Pearl doesn't have a clue. She doesn't know that Dahlia is her sister. About the instructions, I found Pearl. Who wrote them? Whoever was asked you to channel the spirit of someone you never heard of. You must have quite a lot of respect for them. After all, you followed their instructions without question. My next one. Who wrote this set of pearls? I have to wonder something. You didn't have any idea what these instructions meant, did you? But you followed them to the letter. That's why. Because it was your own mother who asked you. That's why. How'd you? I figured it out. The person who wrote this letter was your own mother, Morgan Right, Pearls. It's time you start telling me the truth. Mr. Nick, why are you holding back from me? Why don't you? I don't like it. Don't underestimate me just because I'm a child. Huh? If you're trying to say I followed these instructions to see some truth, because I don't think you have made me. About these instructions on the night of the morning. You're right, there's no evidence that proves it was you. I knew, however, I do know that whoever did was a child. How'd you know that? You couldn't have been an adult. No adult would make a simple mistake like that. A simple mistake for... No, you were carefully following the instructions you've been given. You misunderstood some of the words, and this is proof. It was you who splattered gravy in the hanging scrolls. Remember what was written in the letter? Gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades and ring our fruition. You didn't know how to read the words gravely and roast among others. How did you remember the conversation you had the night of it? Didn't teach you is what they meant. Sounds like gravy to me. And the only roast I could find was the food. And that's what you did. That's where you put the picture of the master engraving from the nut. To be honest, I did think it was a bit strange. I guess I really did the wrong. Just a tiny bit. I really am useless. I couldn't even burn the letter properly as my mother had asked. Just a simple thing, I couldn't even do it. After dinner that night, I did go to the inner temple with a pot full of leftover gravy. I saw the picture on the hanging scroll news. Sure it was the master crying, like it said in the letter. Let's see, and then, well, it was already way past 10 when I got there because of all the snow, so I went to the inner temple guest area. Until the train was open. To just go to the training hall, because Mystic Maya's main training had already started and I couldn't interrupt it. Stayed where I was and prayed for her to get through it. Then Pearls, she fall asleep. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I couldn't. Hey, don't worry about it, Pearls. Who cares if you fell asleep? I fell asleep waiting for Iris too. It happens. And you found yourself trapped in the inner temple. Yes. When I woke up this morning, I tried not to cry, but Atsushi Bridge wasn't there anymore, and there was no one in the train. I thought everyone had left me because I overslept. I threw the letter into the incinerator and heated up the leftover gravy. And Unless I was eating by eating the gravy on the scroll while you cry. Must have been pretty scary for you, Pearl. I know what it's like, Nick. You used to leave me behind when I fell asleep at school, too. Don't equate something so trivial with her experience, like... I've writing my first letter. It says, as soon as you hear the lights out, you must channel her spirit. It was on my way over to the inner temple when I heard the bell ring. So you channeled Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit. No, I tried, but I couldn't do it. I failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it happened. I tried and tried and tried yesterday, this morning, the whole time. I just couldn't do it. Don't let it get you down, Pearls. It's all worth it. If you want, I'll come flying through the sky for you. Whoosh, like that. So she never managed to channel the spirit. That way you think your spiritual powers are gone. Yes, I don't know what to do. Any other explanation for this? I suppose there's one other possibility. It's not very likely, though. Could you please tell me what it is? It could happen if someone else already channeled the same. Else? What do you mean? Well, there's only one of each spirit. That's like dating a girl, Nick. You can see a hot chick if she's already taken me out on the night of the murder. Someone else channeled her spirit before Pearls could. Someone else channeled the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne. What failure. You couldn't even grant my mother's final wish. Final wish? Yes, this letter. This is my last wish, she said. So make sure you follow the instructions carefully. This letter. Definitely need to find out. I've gone to a place called the Penitentiary. Yeah, I know. I visit her every month. Last month she told me the time we've been waiting for has come true. There's something I need to do. I had a letter for you at our home before they brought me. I want you to read it and do exactly what it says. It's for the good of the Fae clan, my angel. You'll be doing a great thing. Now listen carefully. I'll tell you where the letter's headed. Said it was for the good of the Fae clan, so I knew I had to. Mystic Maya's part of the Fae clan, so it had to be good for her. That's right, isn't it? I guess so, yeah. You're with her letter. Picture. Miss Dahlia Hall. Usually a picture is enough to channel someone's spirit, but this time, pretty weird, huh? No one knows anything about this stuff. There's something else that was strange about my mother's letter. The seal on it was broken, as if someone had already opened it once before. That's sure is strange. Someone had already opened it. Thanks, Pearls. You really helped me. You're very welcome. My mother is watching over me, so I'm sure Mystic Maya will be alright. Look at this and a smile on her face. What am I supposed to say to her? Finally figured it out, have you, Trey? You finally realized how terrible the crime being painfully obvious is. Go Dot! The entrance of the sacred cavern looks like a freaking puzzle workshop. I guess he's talking about Iris and the lock breaking up. But it's all a waste of time. Why do you say that? Because Maya Fey isn't coming back. What? You don't know what you're talking about. How can you say something like that? It was your job to protect her, Wright. Just like it was your job to protect Maya Fey. Two sisters caught up in the worst circumstance. I realized that, but... And you're the only one who was on their side. You were the only one who could have saved her. But I don't know anything about what's going on. What did I just say, Trey? Being oblivious is a heinous crime in itself. Or we'll settle everything in court tomorrow, once and for all. Mr. Nick, is what that man just said true? It'll be alright. I'm sure Maya's alive. You'll see for yourself tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. I know I can trust you, Mr. Nick. done so well, my child, my fur. It's better that you don't know what you've done. I knew this day would come for you. The blood of the main family is known. Now finally, after all this time, the master seat is yours. My last great wish. It seems I was just in time. Morning. Oh, are you by yourself? Morning, Pearls. Mr. Nick, please tell me what's going to happen to Miss... I'm sorry. We don't know yet. The investigation is still going on, so I wasn't allowed inside the inner temple. Let's see. So is Sister Iris still trying to remove those trick locks in the train? No. She's the defendant in this case, so she can't be at the inner temple. She's required to be here in court. Then how can she not be here in the defense? I have to admit, it's kind of strange. If you're looking for Iris, she's in the prosecutor's lobby. B. Edgeworth! What's Iris doing over there? She's going over today's testimony with the prosecutors as we speak. Today's testimony. You heard me. Iris is going to be testifying as a witness for the prosecution. Wait, what? The prosecution is squeezing her for a confession. Or sorry. Francisca von Karma, what are you up to? I know what you're thinking, but Francisca isn't going to be the prosecutor. What? And who is? Who else would it be but good Godot? Godot? Francisca is engaged with some important work at the Sacred Cavern. Sacred Cavern? You don't mean that she's... Exactly. She has been there all night trying to remove those trick locks. But the headman's assistant naturally. We estimate the last lock should be taken care of in about 3 hours. I hope everything continues to go smoothly after we receive some good news. Yeah, thanks, Edgeworth. Prosecutor Godot intends to nail this case shut today. Be prepared to fight like there's no tomorrow. You don't have to tell me that. Touché. I can already see it in your eyes. You're not the same fever-ridden, frantic maniac you were yesterday. It's strange. On the way here, I decided that today would be the end of all this. Almost immediately after I made that decision, I felt myself getting stronger. Interesting. Maybe you've passed your cold onto someone else, literally. With that, I leave the rest to your capable hands, partner. Thanks. I still don't have the answers for most of the riddle plaguing this case. Chances around the murders of the least detective, Miss Mystique, the important flight Larry claimed to have seen. And what that woman is really after. I will solve them all and bring this whole tragedy to an end. Court is now in session for the trial of Iris. Your Honor, what are you? Ooh, me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers earlier this week. All of a sudden, the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. Therefore, I'll be standing in. I see, Your Honor. So they're brothers. That explains a lot. My poor brother, he looked a bit pale. Not to mention, he said that he couldn't be here. It's impossible to predict what the future has in store for any of us. This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. And we at the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Well said, Mr. Godot. I understood exactly what you said, at least up until the end. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug. So then you mean, forget it, what do you mean? During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit her role in the crime, but today she has had a change of heart. Sister Iris at Hazakura Temple has a confession to make. Confession, defendant? She discussed this with me first. Very well. This court now here defended its confession. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name. One of my rules. My name is Iris. I'm but a simple nun undergoing training at Hazakura Temple. And if there is something that I want to confess to you, yes. But first, I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore. What is, Mr. Wright? I have to admit that I did play a part in this terrible incident. You actually confessing? Are you saying that you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Dex? No, I'm not your... I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mystic Elise and carried it to the Hazakura Temple where I desecrated it. What? Order in the court! Witness! Are you saying that you were an accomplice to the murder? Yes, that's correct. What? 3 minutes in court and I'm already covered in salt. Everyone on the planet is an accomplice to something. It just happened to be that in that case the murder. Isn't that right, Mr. Trite? Good God. This is the confession they were conferring about. It pains me to say this. It looks like Iris' testimony was all. Lily, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. Whose crime were you trying to cover up for your covering for someone? Alright? No, I'm definitely at the creek without. Or what? Oh, this little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of the Korean tradition. One of our missions is to protect the main family. But main family, yes, and that's why I would bury myself, if need be, to protect her. The daughter of the master of the Korean channel, Mystic Maya Fey. Huh? Wake up and smell the coffee, Trite. She's naming Maya? Order the court! So not only did the witness murder, you know the name of the murder? I'm terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes, and I cleaned up the area to try to protect her. That's ridiculous! Mine could never... The defense will refrain from commenting until the appropriate time. Now witness, let's hear your testimony. What exactly happened on the night of the crime? Yes, Your Honor. I was prepared. I never imagined this case would have been going in this direction. I went to the inner temple that night and saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Beast strike Mystic Maya with her staff. While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, moved to defend herself and stole the weapon. In self-defense, yes, Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first. That's why I tried my best to protect her. You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected. Isn't that right? Not bad. You got the instincts for true kill. Something's not quite right. I'm sure it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the inner temple that night. The person who did go was that woman. It's your cross-examination. Why did you stop them from fighting? I was frightened. I couldn't move. Speak in such a shock. Understandable. Is that right? She moved to deliver a fatal strike. Yes, I'm sure. She threw her staff and reached. What was it? This weapon? Or with this weapon to kill Miss Faye? Yes, exactly. You look like I did after I mistakenly took a swig of your shot. Do you have a problem with this? Your Honor, I have a small problem with the witnesses. You do? This witness is your own. Yes, well, nevertheless, that's fine. Yes, that's my job. Listen, Grant, I won't say anything. Final judgment will be made. Sister Wright, there's something strange about your version of events. So throwing her stuff away makes no sense at all to me. But all you can do with the stuff is hit someone. Naturally, you wouldn't know this, Sister Iris, but the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword. If Elise Dexter really had wanted to kill Maya Faye, she wouldn't need to use a separate dagger. But she already had a beautiful blade in her hands. Well, Sister Iris, what do you have to say?
Objection!
That was an impressive bit of information. I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff. But even so, how should I put this? A long sword is unwieldy and ineffective in a close quarters combat. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger. Well, anyway, the type of weapon she chose to use isn't what's important. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Faye. As long as there's nothing strange about it, there's no problem with her testimony. There's something strange about this whole test. Well, Mr. Wright, now presents evidence to back up its argument. Another piece of evidence that shows this testimony can't be trusted.
Take that!
Detective would never attack Maya Faye. How can you be so sure? Because the victim's real name was not Elise Dexter. Her real name was Misty Faye. Faye? No, not Misty Faye. Who is this Misty Faye? Is she related to? Misty Faye is the master of the crying channeling technique. She is also the mother of Maya Faye. Are you serious? Mr. Wright, was Elise Dexter actually the great mystic Faye? There's no doubt about it. It's like ours is no idea. The idea that she would try to kill her own daughter, she hasn't seen it. So perhaps the prosecution can offer some explanation for why she would do such a thing. Order in the court! Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seems natural. However, in light of some facts that have just been presented, one, that the victim supposedly threw away a sword during a fight, and two, that the people battling the deaths were mother and daughter, despite the fact being unbelievable when taken together. When taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe. nothing's really possible except for one little thing. Yes? What is this one little topic? You still don't get it. You think maybe my beans are under roasted, but you have no idea, Grams. Could you get to your point? I heard this witness confess this morning, just as I had taken the first sip of my 8th coffee of the morning. Going to ruin your health, my friend. Anyway, after hearing this woman's confession, I have a detective who loves to investigate sent to the scene of the crime, and discovered this little beauty. The dagger the witness testified to seeing. Obviously, Your Honor. But did you not notice something else? Eventually, there appeared to be blood. Where did you find that? I didn't see that when I investigated the crime scene. Did you investigate the pine tree at this crime scene? Huh? The pine tree? The dagger was stuck in the backside of the pine tree. When the final blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the two, this little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree. Which means, the blood belongs to the correct? Were you even listening, old man? I first heard this confession this morning. I had taken the first sip of my 13th cup of coffee. Didn't you say it was your 8th just a few minutes ago? I don't have enough time to get the blood analyzed on structural criminal. The court will accept the dagger as evidence. Furthermore, I order that the blood test be performed on it immediately. This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right. Hey, let's get this piece of evidence to the crime line for testing immediately. Now then, the testimony we just heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found this very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider her testimony to be credible. Cute girls never lie, ever. In any case, witness, if you could please testify against this about what? About the incident you saw. The battle between the two women. Yes, Your Honor. Maya stumbled briefly after being hit in the head with a staff, but then she dodged Lee's next attack and stole her weapon. Suddenly, Mystic Lee's was the one on the defensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed, but then she collapsed. I don't know if there were any bad feelings between them, but it had been 17 years since Misty disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore. That seems reasonable. Something about you just isn't right there. Huh? Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions. What do you mean? What's wrong about my testimony? According to you, Maya Fey stabbed the victim while she had her back to the stone lantern. Yes, that's right. But in the case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right? Yes, I think so. But according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blow loss from the back. This proves that the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris, it appears that another seed of doubt has sprouted from your testimony. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? It's simple. People are like books. We've all got fronts and backs. Get in my drift. Is that all you have to say? I also say that darkness loves to play with the human heart. Could you please knock it off with the cheesy proverbs and for metaphors already? The point is, too much of this testimony just doesn't make sense. Throwing away a useful staff that people find being mother and daughter, and now she falsely claims the victim was stabbed in the stomach. There certainly are some inconsistencies. Well, Iris, how about it? Well, it's just... If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing. What do you mean? There are 253 types of bitterness in coffee, but to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all the senses. Are you really concentrating on what this witness actually said? Prosecutor Godot couldn't explain herself. The witness was quite unambiguous about her whole ambiguous when she said the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. Human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light. Light. By the way, did you know Hazakura has a rule that's on nights when cultists in the inner temple train, the stone lanterns must be kept lit. I did wonder what that stone lantern was there for. That's true. Shouldn't the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly? Normally, yes, Your Honor. But according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light that stone lantern. Impossible? It had been used in a long time, and the wick was no good. In other words, it had to have been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's all. Most enlightening. Yes, illuminating fact has chased all the contradictions away. If the staff was dropped, it would have been difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. We can't see the demons that lurk at night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, Wright? No! Order, order, order! Here, Your Honor. Let me present the stone. It would be rekindle the truth. What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame pot? This lantern, there's something written on it. Why? It's written in blood! Oh boy. So the judge didn't know about that yet. Blood. It says Maya upside down. What the? Oh yes. That's right. In corner instead, but hold on, right, wait, she must have written that on the stone with her blood that was drained out. It certainly looks that way.
Objection!
Hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about? What do you mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about the message written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern is as clean as a whistle. Could it be? You can't see the bloody writing at all. Now that I think about it, he did say something to me yesterday. My eyesight's pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on, I can't see everything. Okay, so this obviously is important. Know what the crime scene was dark, and the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything for Mr. Godot? Okay then, let's move on. God is literally shaking, and somehow I don't think it's from caffeine overdose. It has been established that Miss Dexon was killed by Maya Fey, and that's just wrong. And it's time to turn our attention to... Yeah, sir. Don't you? Let's hear it. We're all ears. After Miss Nicolise died, I called out to thought it was my duty to protect future master. So I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way to Death Eater. Then I used the snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple and to alter the way it looked. It was raised at Hazakura. Even so, I never imagined and was actually misleading. I've committed a terrible sin. Oh, I believe we're looking for twisted fit. We were spotted by the head nun, correct? Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back. Makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Pretty amazing that you can make it a Ricky open. It's surprisingly sturdy despite brought the body into Eagle River. And much easier than dragging it all the way to Hazakura. It has too much distance. That's why I tried to take the body far away as possible. It made perfect sense to me for the time being. Did you? See how you think snow, huh? Think up. You claimed that the snow had already stopped when the murder occurred. I'm sorry, that just isn't possible. This is the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the snow stopped until 10:50, but you couldn't have crossed the dusty bridge at that time. Because 5 minutes before the snow stopped, the dusty bridge was struck by lightning and caught. The bridge was on fire? I mean to say, you don't know about it? It's because of that lightning strike that the bridge burned down. But it can't be. Looks like you still haven't figured it out. No matter how hard you try to deceive or conceal, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defensive attorney. No! Order, order! The bridge is already on fire when the incident took place. That's right, the inner temple was already totally cut off. There's no way you could have crossed the bridge, body or no body. Witness, even my patience has its limit. Any further lying, I will find you a conviction. If you have anything to say.
Objection!
The only one person here is that truly is you. Oh man. How dare you? Whether this witness lie or not doesn't mean squat right. Squat? The important thing is now to find out the truth, isn't that right? Yes, but whether it is snowing or not snowing, or whether the bridge was burning or not, there are two facts that can't be disagreed. First, the body of Elise Deku was discovered in the Hazakura Temple Court. Second, the head nun, Sister Bikini. The witness desecrated Elise Deku's body, making a good point of both accounts. That's right, I'm not. What are you doing this time? I wasn't myself at all that night, so my memory's still somewhat hazy. You have stood at the witness stand and testified this entire time. Are you telling us now that your memory is that night?
Objection!
It's only human. If you're so perfect, right, maybe you can explain this to me. What is it? When the murder happened, the bridge had already burned down. Somehow the body traveled across the bridge and was found that perhaps you have some kind of perfect explanation for this thing. Vince is not prepared to offer. In other words, you're in no position to suggest that the lady's testimony isn't the truth. Yeah! Alright then, let's hear your testimony once more. About what, Your Honor? You admit that you moved the victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contains a rather large... Please add an explanation to that. Yes, Your Honor. Will this be your final testimony? Other than walking over the bridge, there's no other way to move the body, so I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was the snow still falling, or had it stopped? Does it really make sense? Or are you saying that there is a way to cross the burning bridge? It's just a misunderstanding. There's a photo of Dusty Bridge on the morning after the incident. Chris, what is this? Snap. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall. Clearly it would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition. Maya will be accused of murder. Try. I'm only gonna say this one more time. It's only human to err, and only humans can spot the errors of other ways. Mr. Wright, please begin your final cross-exam. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you like it and stay tuned.